Hello, my name is Emma from Dive Confident. I'm here with Gemma and Ian on the BiG Scuba podcast to talk about how I combine my love of diving and my experience as a therapist to help others.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the BiG Scuba podcast. My name is Ian. I am one of your co-hosts, and with me also here is...
Hello, my name is Gemma. Welcome to the BiG Scuba podcast.
Yeah, so welcome. This is episode 203, coming at you loud and clear. We are talking to Emma Biran, Dive Confident. But before we talk to Emma, who's our guest, let me tell you, these episodes are sponsored by Narc 90. They are beyond technical. Did you know that, Gemma?
Yes, they cover all sorts of diving needs. So if you're a tech diver, rebreather diver, recreational diver, look them up at narc90.com and they can help you with all your diving requirements and servicing needs.
I be a diver, so can I get contact with them and make contact and say hello and see what they've got for sale?
Yes, of course. Even
Excellent.
if it's a dive computer, just, go their way and see what they can help you with.
Yeah. Great. So if you're wondering what this podcasts are about, we do talk to divers, we talk to explorers, people who are some kind of connection to the ocean and the watery world. And today is no exception. So Emma Biran, she runs with her colleague and partner, Dive Confident.
Yes, and she was recommended to us by one of our diving friends, Nick Lamb from Crystal Seas, and he pointed us in her direction, and they came on the podcast.
And what does she do?
So she helps people with any confidence issues, or if it's to do with diving, any kind of therapy issues. So she's used her past job to put into place Dive Confident, and they're linked.
So if you had a bit of a wobble or something like that on a dive, there are people out there, and Emma's there, and we'll have all the details of how you can contact Emma. And she actually offers, this is a bit of a real bonus for anyone who is interested in the month of May, to contact her and get a free 15 minutes consultation, which is pretty cool.
Yes, because the month of May is mental health awareness. So if you do make contact with Emma, do drop our name into it so that she knows you've listened to the podcast.
Yes. So if you are listening to this in August 2026, 27, then, still make contact, because there's someone always there to help. But, you would have to speak to her very nicely. But there's 15 minutes. That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. What have we been up to? I've got some shout outs. Now, last weekend, I was on dive master duty for Crystal Sea Scuba in Norwich, and we were at Stony Cove, had a great bunch of students. It's my first one this year.
Open water?
Open waters, yeah. We were on the open water on Saturday and Sunday, total of 5 dives, 3 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday. And hello to all you guys, did really, really well, and congratulations. Keep diving, get in the water, that's the main thing. And we had a good time. And then I said to anyone who comes and says hello over the weekend, find the flag, and I always put magnetic signs up on the van. It's always pretty clear where we are. Anyone who comes and says hello, there'll be a free gift. So gave them a free gift. And so hello to Mark, Zeb, Alice, Jason, and Corey. You know who you are.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I hope they enjoy their free gift.
Yes, absolutely. So if I'm back, there should be possibly in June. If not, it'll be September. But whenever you see a flag, whenever you see the big scuba flag, come say hello, come get a shout out, and generally you'll give you a free gift as long as we got them honest. Sometimes I do forget, otherwise we'll sort something out. Just being honest.
Yeah, there we go. And we were at Stony Cove yesterday and flying the flag.
It's my second home.
Yeah, well, it is for you. 2 weeks on the trot. So
I might just camp there.
But for Honey came along, your daughter, and myself. It was our first dive since October.
Wow.
So yeah, quite a big surface interval, but time and life and family all gets in the way a little bit. But it was
Times.
yeah, but it was important to get in the water before we've got diving planned in the next few months.
Yeah.
And we had, well, you and I had 2 dives, and Honey had 1 dive, and they were really, really good dives.
Yeah, she did really well, really
Yeah.
pleased. Always good seeing her in the water, and the visibility at Stony at the moment is really good.
It is.
You know, what we saying, 10 meters,
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'd say. Really good. And it's about 13 degrees. There were some people in wetsuits and semi-dries.
I don't know. Yeah, I did my dive log this morning, and we went down to like sort of 12.7 meters. That was recorded, and it says it was 10 degrees.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I said I didn't notice a change in temperature, but you did. But
No, I did. Yeah, I know
Oh.
on my face, so I felt the change in temperature. So yeah, but that's right. That's
And we
good.
saw huge pike twice on both dives, didn't we? Huge. Yeah. And then we went to the bit under the pub where you've got the window type cutouts, haven't
They were
you?
doing all the building works and chucking all the rubble down underneath the pub.
Yeah, but you can get in there, and we put the torch through, and there was hundreds of fish, little fish.
Yeah, that's where all the fry are at the minute. There's a heads up. If you want to see where all the thousands of fry at the moment, they're all underneath the pub.
Yeah, so under where Nessie used to be, the Nessie statue thing, that's out of there now. But
Well, Nessie got out there because I think Nessie was a bit worried about some of the rubble falling on its head.
Yeah, it does look a bit.
So I think Nessie thought I'd make a break for it and get out into the ocean.
Scuffled out. Yeah. No. But yeah, it was a great day diving. Good to see a few familiar faces.
Yeah. It was always good. We did some social media stuff for NART regarding the Pathfinder Gen X, the strobe.
Yes.
So look out for that. And we'll be sharing about that soon.
Yes.
And there'll be links on the show notes about the strobe Gen X.
Yeah.
I know that's been really popular. I was on the when I went to see the guys at the show, the time I was there was people coming up buying those strobes. They're really, really popular, and why not?
Yeah,
Life-saving thing.
Yeah, it feels bulletproof. It's got weight, it's weight.
Yeah, you could drop that. Still work.
And it's currently on the NART at 90 website as of today. It's £300, and for a bit of kit that's crucial to, it's a life-saving bit of equipment for visibility underwater and locating people.
If you're visiting a wreck and let's say it's 100 meters down and it's murky, not particularly pleasant down there, and you come out and you're a bit disorientated and you're looking around thinking, what way am I going? And you don't really have much time to really think too much, and you look over and you think, there's that light flashing away, you're going to go there, aren't you?
Absolutely.
So
we'll pop some social media up and the links to the product on social media through the week. We use the Insta360 camera underwater in its dive housing.
They're a smart bit of kit, aren't they?
Yeah, I've had a look at the what footage we've got, and so we'll make a few reels out of that. And again, there's a link to the product in the show notes.
Yeah, there's I've seen quite a few more of the content creators now using those cameras.
Yeah. They're certainly very easy to use, and the quality of the picture is incredible. So yeah.
Do we have a link for them as well?
We do. I'll pop it in the show notes. So that's all good.
Okay. We've got to do a shout out for Miranda's daughter as well.
So we've had previous guest Miranda Krestovnikov. She is an English sort of presenter and wildlife presenter, and very big into diving.
Has been on the show?
She has, yes. She has a daughter called Amelie, and she's in Thailand, and she's just qualified for her PADI Dive Master. So Miranda got in touch to tell us, and so we said we'd give her a shout out. So
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, well done. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's,
Yeah.
keep the journey. You know, she's only young. Keep up the journey. Keep up the PADI path, and who knows where to take her.
Yeah, and what a location to be in Thailand. I think she posted a reel the other day of whale sharks.
Wow,
Just
it's
awesome.
awesome, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Great career and lifestyle as well.
Yes.
Not much money in it, but do you know what? What a great lifestyle, though.
Well, the experiences. Yeah.
That's the thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah.
Uh,
And we've also another previous guest who's been on a couple of times is Grace Westcarth.
yes, yeah, and a dad. A dad has been on as well.
Yes, yeah. So Grace has just brought out a book. It's called Ocean Profiles, and it's where she has interviewed and photographed a range of people connected to the ocean. So that's out. So I'll put a link to the book and where you can find it. But it's really amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, because Grace is only what, 20, 21?
Well, we spoke to Grace and
Inca
Inca
and
and
May.
May. Yes, that was on the right. I was just about to say, and they were our very first guests.
Episode 4.
Wow,
Yeah,
imagine that back
yeah.
then, 5 years ago.
And Grace was just
16.
17. Yeah. Yeah.
I
So
think she was
we,
a driver. I think she was 16, if
yeah,
not 15.
yeah. And she'd, the next year she'd spoken at the dive show or the first one we went to, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we followed Grace, yeah, from the very beginning and with her journey with her dad, because he's so supportive with her diving as well. So
He is, bless him.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
you know, as any father would be,
Yeah.
let's just say. And yeah, it's been brilliant to watch her journey, and you know, it continues, which is good. And not just that, does crazy other stuff like chucking herself out of a good working plane, right? Mad things like that.
Yeah, and I saw she posted she was getting on a paddleboard, surfboard. She's down on the south coast, so she's a real water
Actually,
baby. Yeah, yeah.
good. All right, that'd be cool. Was there anything else we need to cover? We are going to see our friends in Deep, aren't we?
Yes, we're going to Deep Campus on this coming week to
Yeah.
have a little update. We visited there. When was that?
Last year, wasn't it?
Year, early part of last year.
Got to sit in the sub
We did. So we saw
in
their
the dry. That was in
yeah,
the dry, wasn't it? That was in their workshop, but we got to sit in it, didn't we? And
we
Barry
did.
talked us through it.
Yeah.
So then we had but before that we had a chat with the CEO to talk us through about the future plans, and we had a look around the site, which British divers will all know formally as NDAC.
Yeah.
And lots of divers get all excited and passionate about why we can't dive NDAC anymore. But let's move on. And anyway, but we're going there for a few hours, and yeah, looking forward for a catch up, see what's changed.
See how different it is. Yeah. So watch out for social media on that, and yeah, should be interesting to see how things have developed.
Yeah. So if you're not following Deep, get on their website, get on their social media, make sure you're following, because they are up at the cutting edge of what's coming out on ocean science and research.
Yeah, and a number of our previous guests are still connected with Deep. So Phil Short, Dawn Kanigas, Kurt Crock. They're all currently on the staff at Deep. And then we've just spoken to Rob Colley, and he was a previous staff member as well. So yeah, it's big stuff.
So there's more of them to come, isn't there? Really, at the end of the day, you know, there's going to be more of Deep to come. So watch their space.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's the roundup of everything that we've been up to. And,
I think so. Yeah.
Got busy few weeks ahead, but we'll be getting out on the McConk's paddle boards, using our happy bottles.
Yeah.
Yep. And
if you if you see the flag and see the sign, do come say hello. It's always good to hear from you. And if you've got a story to tell us, let us know, and we'll book you on.
Yeah, any recommendations for guests, point them our way, and yeah, we'd be very grateful.
Yeah, make sure you know about NART, and come see us. If you come see us, we'll give you a free gift.
Yes, and if you haven't liked, subscribed, and follow us, please do. And if you could give us a review, that's really helpful. And we do have a YouTube channel, so head over there and subscribe. Yeah, and tell your friends.
Right, should we get our guest on?
Yes, so this is episode 203, and we are talking to Emma Biran from Dive Confident.
Hello, my name is Emma from Dive Confident. I have 25 years plus experience as a therapeutic counsellor working with children, young people and adults of all ages. I'm an IDC staff instructor. I'm a proud member of the British Association of Counselling and Psychotherapy, which is the BACP. I'm privileged to combine both my therapy and my passion for diving when I saw an opportunity to help others overcome their fears and anxieties. By blending the therapeutic techniques with diving instruction, I knew I wanted to create a supportive environment where individuals could conquer their apprehensions, empowering them to fulfill their aspirations with confidence in the water. I'm here with Gemma and Ian on the BiG Scuba podcast to talk about how I combine my love of diving and my experience as a therapist to help others.
Hey, welcome to the BiG Scuba podcast.
Thank you.
That was a great introduction.
Thank you very much. It's a bit hard to kind of like encapsulate it all in just a sort of a couple of sentences, but it's just sort of so much that kind of just happens and interplays into why I love to dive, really.
Well, and that's the main thing, because why do you like to dive? What does that mean to you?
Oh, it's escape. It's a little bit of an escape from like the real world. You know, I don't know if you've seen probably over YouTube and lots of other socials where you've got lots of noise above the surface, and the minute you descend, it's peace. It's silent. And I love that. I love you can hear the regulator, you can hear breathing, but you can literally you're going into a world that's the unknown. It doesn't matter how many times, you dive, i.e. at Stony or something, or, repeatedly going back to your favourite dive sites, it's still, every dive is unique. And it's just lovely. It's just that mindfulness, really, I think, for me.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to convey that to other people sometimes, that just how it is.
Yeah, it is. And when I stumbled into really blending the bit about the anxieties and apprehensions, is our voices in our heads can be so noisy sometimes, but actually, even at depth, even when you just duck underneath the surface, it's just so different. It's just so mesmerizing.
How did you get into being in the underwater world? What made you want to learn to scuba dive?
Oh, yeah, great question. Well, basically, it was on my bucket list forever. So I was always fascinated with water. I always have to, if I'm near water, I have to have a paddle. Not quite puddles, but not far off. So we was on holiday quite a few years ago now, about sort of 6 years ago, and in Mexico. And we literally saw a sort of sandwich board advertising that they do tri dives or DSDs. And I just went, I've just got to try. It's an opportunity I want to try. So we did the skills in the pool, loved it, no problems at all. And then part of the dive centre said that they're going out on a boat to Cozumel the very next day. Would I like to go and do a Discover Scuba dive there? Absolutely, yes. And it was just wonderful. So when I was just about to step off the boat, and it was really strange because basically my feet wouldn't leave the back of the boat to get into the water, but I was ready to. I was like caught on a bit of a funny angle. But as soon as I got in the water, as soon as we were descending, literally I glanced over, there was my partner on one side, there was a turtle on the other, the instructor was literally right by the side of me, and I was hooked. I was hooked straight away. I come up from that dive just absolutely elated.
Wow. That's a good way to start.
Yeah, I was hooked straight away. It was literally come back, as soon as we got back to the hotel, signed up for my open water and did it on that holiday.
Wow.
Nice. Turtles are pretty awesome things to see on your first dive as well.
Yeah, very privileged. Yeah, I'd like to think that the turtle was there waiting for me, but yeah, I'm not quite sure. And certainly don't see a turtle every single dive, do you? But they are a bit special to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did a dive at Ras Mohammed Nature Reserve, and there was a big turtle sitting there, just munching away, and it was amazing to watch. It was just like, wow. That was a drift dive, so you saw it there, and I was like, gone.
Oh yeah, and they're so quick as well. So I saw we were in the UAE last year, and basically on a dive. So as soon as we come in the back of the wreck, this turtle had just woken up, and it come past me, looked at me like I just completely disturbed and ruined his day. Looked at me, and it was just glided past me, giving me a side glance. But yeah, it made me chuckle.
So did you get back to the UK and then carry on with your qualifications?
Yeah, so as soon as I come back from that holiday, and that was in the May, I couldn't wait to get back in the water. So we booked to go on holiday in the October to Malta, and I did my advanced open water. Then wanted to go back again, so then I did my dry suit in Malta, and then it's pretty much only a few months or so afterwards. What was it? I'm just trying to think when COVID hit. But basically, COVID then was preventing us from travel. So the only way to dive regularly then was basically to be UK divers. Yeah. And I thought, that's quite hard. I don't know if I can do the cold. I'm a bit of a pampered wetsuit.
It's always cold.
I know it's not, but yeah, but sometimes I'm in Stonian at like 4 degrees, 5 degrees.
Yeah, that's cold. Yeah.
Yeah. Not the hydro box, but yeah.
It was 13 at the weekend. It's getting better.
Oh, tropical. Tropical. So basically because of COVID, and it just meant that if I wanted to frequently dive and we couldn't travel, then I started UK diving. Yeah, and just the progression really. So different dive courses that I've undertaken myself. And then a couple of years ago now, I did my ALSI. So it just meant that I could dive more if I take.
You did you what? Sorry.
I did my ALSI, so my open water scuba instructor, so instructor course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you've progressed quite fast through the years, I suppose.
Well, it's about 6 years, so you can go. I think what they sort of call sort of 0 to hero and a little bit beyond. You know, you can do it in much quicker time. For me, I just did the progression when I was ready to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because we all progress at different levels and what have you. And because what level are you at now then?
I'm a staff instructor.
All right, brilliant, excellent.
Yeah. So while you were learning to scuba dive, were you in your day job? Was that in the therapy side of work?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, there is a little bit of that therapy that I undertake each week, but I also have another day job, and I work as an HR professional, and I work in the City of London. So therapy, I do a few hours a week.
Right.
But my main role now is as HR. But however, blending that two together, like I say, I kind of had that flash of inspiration about 3 years ago, knowing that there's different anxieties that happen for each of us on any diet, any situation. It just was that light bulb moment that, I really enjoy the therapeutic support and the interventions for people and working through panic and anxiety and the intrusive voices, etc. So actually, this happens on dives. So it just felt natural to put them together because, we've all had that, we've all had moments where anxiety has really hindered us. And I've had it through my diving career, diving experiences.
Yeah. And a lot of people just shove it under the carpet and say, just get on with it. And it's kind of, And then that's when you give up diving, I think.
Yeah, and I definitely had moments where that could have been me. So I had my advanced open water and it did not go well. It did not go well at all. I had quite a severe panic. I felt like I was put in a situation by the instructor that I had at the time. I say it's overseas, doesn't really matter what the dive centre was or whatever, but I just felt like there could have been better choices and I could have had better support and I would experience it. So I had quite panic when I was doing the deep adventure dive of my AOW. And I remember being on the other side of a wreck where I could see the instructor and I'm crying into my mask. I was genuinely in fear because he put too much weight on me as far as I was concerned. Didn't really manage that terribly well. I had a 15-litre tank on my back. That was really new to me, really quite heavy. So I was descending quite quickly. I felt like I was out of control, so I'm trying to control myself, and basically the instructor was just too far away and too kind of disconnected, I guess, from the students.
How did that happen? Did you not do a weight check then?
Yeah, but quite honestly, it was quite a big group, and it was his last day in the dive centre. And then he was going further overseas. I just feel like he just rushed us and he was chucking more weight on us to make sure that we'd gone down.
Really?
Yeah, but 15, I'd only been diving with 12 litres, but put 15 on me, but kept a lot of weight. I could barely walk across this car park going into the dive site.
Wow.
Towards the shore, and that frightened the life out of me. And I swore, I was like, that will never happen to me again. Got myself out of it, and I was crying into my mask, and it was just like this thermocline hit me. It did, and I was like, just give me like a little bit of a slap around the face. It's like, oh my goodness, give myself a bit of a talking to. I've got this. I can sort this situation out, and I did. I don't actually remember what steps I would have been taken, but I made it quite well. I kind of expressed my discontent when we did come out, and how I just went, all these catalogue of things that were done to me, and I didn't really understand, because remember, I'd only just come out of my open water. So I'd only done the 4 dives.
So how many dives have you done between your open water and your advanced?
None.
Oh, you went one to the other?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did the same. Yeah, it's quite quick, but I really liked the advanced.
Yeah, for me, it was like my interest in diving was literally off the scale. Excited, elated, adored it from my open water in Mexico. Doing my AOW, a few months later, I was in Malta. It crashed. It went from literally one extreme to the other, and I could have stopped. I was at a hotel every night crying, going, I don't want to do this. I hate this. And it was only for the fact that I remembered how much I loved it in Mexico that kept me getting through that.
Yeah, that's the thing about when you dive in abroad, because like I think with our training in the UK particularly is generally pretty high level and really good. And I think with the agencies are always check as well to make sure dive centres are. And when I went abroad and dived off a boat, I'd been used to the regimental fashion of us doing our dive check, our buddy checks and things like that, that we do at Crystal Seas, and we drum that into our students and what have you. And I jumped off. Everybody was getting all ready on the boat, and I was, by this stage, advanced dive. I've done a few more dives. And I said, well, I need to do a weight check. But everybody gone. They'd all cleared off, all jumped off and gone diving. And literally just had to pick some weight up, and then thought, oh, it's the sea, or I had a bit more on. And that was that. And then thought, well, are we all going to, is it going to be a plan or what? But they all buggered off and went.
Yeah, and that sadly that happens so often when you're overseas, doesn't it? On my AOW, still I chose to do a night dive as part of my adventures, and on that particular dive, I was buddied up with someone that basically just wanted to come along for a dive. wasn't part of the student group. He could not have been any less bold about me. I kept saying, "Can we do our buddy checks? Can we do this?" And I literally 5, 6, 7 dives in. And I was sort of like, I felt like I was scurrying behind the instructor trying to catch them up in the rest of the group. It was so different experience to what I'd had in Mexico, and I felt hugely looked after there. So I say it went from one extreme to the other, and it crashed really quite quickly, and it took me a long time to recover that confidence in myself and my ability and my knowledge. That the whole time I wanted to make sure that I'm trained at that right level, and I can be self-sufficient, because I felt like during that AOW I'd put all of my trust and confidence into the instructor, and I felt quite let down. And I promised myself that I would never put myself in that situation, and I would never want to be with somebody that felt like they were in that situation either now. So become an instructor, really for me, it was that combination, like I say, genuinely wanting to help people and having my experiences, but equally going, I know this happens, and I know that this can upset, and really chip away and have an negative impact on our own confidence, but we can recover from it, because I knew how that turtle that greeted me on my first dive was there waiting for me again another day.
That is the thing, when the dives go not always to plan, that they are good, as long as there's nothing serious happens, then they do offer a learning opportunity and get stronger with. It's sad to hear what happened, and but it's given you the strength to now do what you're now doing, which is really good.
Yeah, that is good. And it is easy to lose the confidence, and probably takes a lot longer to build the confidence back up again to get back in the water. And it's probably what makes a good instructor as well, appreciating that.
Yeah, and really understanding that you're putting yourself in that student's shoes or bins, basically. But it's just it's ensuring that this isn't normal, this isn't accepted. We are doing something new. We need to support our students as very best we possibly can, but equally understanding that anxiety, uncertainty is there for everybody. And let's talk about it. Let's keep it real, because actually being complacent or ignoring it and chucking extra weight on students isn't the answer, because actually it compounds the problem.
This episode is brought to you by Narked at 90, the cutting-edge pioneers in the world of diving equipment. Meet the founders, John Routley and Brent Hudson, who have logged thousands of mixed gas dives over the past 3 decades. About 20 years ago, these experienced technical divers combined their passion for diving and engineering skills to create Narked at 90. Whether you're new to diving and ready to take it up a notch, have a fair amount of experience, or are considering a transition into technical diving, we highly recommend Narked at 90. They're ready to advise on the best equipment and setup for your personal and commercial needs. Narked at 90 also has extensive hands-on experience with shearwater and ratio dive computers, being the longest-serving UK service centre for these brands. They're ready to offer technical support, servicing, repairs and upgrades for all shearwater and ratio computers, past and present. In addition to shearwater and ratio, Narked at 90 stocks and supports many other brands, such as DiveSoft, JJCCR, Hollis, Revo and Kiss rebreathers. The diving community is always enthusiastic about Narked at 90, and it's easy to see why. Here are just a few reasons. Full head servicing for rebreathers from various manufacturers, bespoke cable assemblies, advice on specific fitting requirements, suggestions and guidance for home builds, computer laser cutting and engraving, CNC milling and turning, pressure testing to simulate 400-metre dives. We're thrilled to partner with Narked at 90, a company that has ignited so much passion for diving and has been incredibly supportive and innovative in producing and selling dive equipment. Visit narkedat90.com to see why they're a renowned name in diving. Stay updated on their insights and offers by following them on social media. Just search for Narked at 90 on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram and hit that follow button.
It's weird that once we start diving, that often the safety checks and a checklist gets forgotten about. And when you look at the BZAC accident reports, often a lot of the accidents could have been avoided if the checklist had been followed, i.e. like with rebreathers and what have you. And also buddy checks have been done, And I think it's quite important that those are followed all the way through. And I think sometimes as new divers can feel intimidated by being mixed with quite experienced divers, and maybe they see that not happen, especially with divers who've been diving a long time. But with anxiety and stress and what have you, we've spoke to quite a few divers now who have done mega dives, like 100 meter plus dives, and they can be at 20 meters and have a wobble, and it comes on them as quick as anything. And one of the things at the Go Dive show this year, Ranva, she was giving a talk about in one of the caves where she was and had a wobble. and had to really talk to herself and correct herself, and said, well, actually, I need to end this dive. And it was quite inspiring hearing her talk about that, about how she had this wobble in the cave. And this is a lady who's done hundreds of dives, serious dives, and all sorts. So it just proves, it can happen to anyone anytime.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it can be. It's not just new divers. It really isn't. Some of the clients or students that I have through Dive Confident, these are people that are seasoned divers. And these are people that have been diving for very, very many years, and some of them have had a bit of a break and then lost their confidence about getting back in the water. Going back to the level that they left their club at, and then feeling like people just want to slip them straight back into where they used to be. But actually, by having a break out of the water, they need to regain that confidence in themselves and their own abilities. And exactly what you're saying, it can happen to anybody at any point. It doesn't, sometimes it's not even rhyme or reason. We might not just feel great today, think it's fine, think we can get in the water. And then not necessarily know why we don't feel okay, but we just know that we don't. And it's into that and making sure that we are all trained to make sure that safety comes first. And I always say to my students and whoever we dive with, if it's my partner or friends or whatever, and just go, it's okay to call a dive. You don't have to say why. And we know that. We know that that's what we all say, but does it happen in reality? I know that I do. I know that I do with the people that I dive with, and you don't have to explain yourself. It's okay. Okay. Feel like doing something today, that's all right. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you so after this experience, you carried on your qualifications, started up selfconfidentdiver.com and this business with Stuart, is that right?
Yep.
And do you then carried on your education to deal with the anxiety, and what role does Stuart bring to this?
Okay, yeah. So Stuart completed his CDTC last year, so course director. And so what we do now is when we're delivering the pro development, it's underpinned by self-confident diver techniques. So as staff instructor, I then come in and do a couple of little workshops with them to really prepare them for, none of us like being assessed. None of us want to be standing up doing classroom sessions. We don't want to be doing the exam. So, talking it through with them to say, actually, just deal with their anxiety levels in terms of you can do this. So really having that extra support alongside. Stuart's also got a very long history of training, learning and development as well. So he naturally is delivering that in terms of the IDCs, saying I'm coming from that therapeutic intervention to underpin to make sure that they've got that, we're surrounding them by support, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how long's Dive Confident been running?
So it's been running for 3 years now. So I started up, I wrote, basically, so we went back to Mexico 3 years ago. And that's when this flash of inspiration happened, where I thought, actually, the therapeutic intervention will help. So on the balcony in the hotel, I was like, I'm gonna make that work. So what I wanted to do is write a distinctive program, which I wanted to get, wanted endorsed by PADI as part of the specialties. So that's what I did. So I then spent a few months writing that program, and that program, as I've already said, I call it Self-Confident Diver, and that comprises of a classroom session of about 3.5 hours, where we go through the importance of why diving is important to us, why do we want to achieve it, forget what goes on elsewhere in terms of what our brain is doing, but why are we excited, why are we tempted to dive, and then what's going on in our brain to kind of trying to put ourselves, trying to keep us risk adverse, how can we overcome those things. Then I have an open water, then we have a confined water session to work through any of the skills that the people or the students are just finding a bit tricky. So it tends to be anything to do, mostly it's mask move and replace, or reg out and replace. And then we go to open water, and that's 2 open water dives. So that's the full program. It's classroom session, it's confined water session, and then it's 2 open water sessions. So that was the program, or is the program, that I wrote and got endorsed. And like I say, I'm very proud to say it's a PADI distinctive course. So that can be part of an AOW, for example, electives. But then what's happened, so that was 3 years ago, and then sort of it's evolved. So I now do one-to-one counselling and coaching. I've had overseas clients, whereby I've had a particular client that comes to mind from Singapore.
Wow.
And she was she was struggling with going deep, whatever deep meant, but deep is all relative, isn't it? Yeah. So it's evolved from just having the distinctive course to then offering bespoke programs, really, and ongoing counselling and ongoing coaching. And then last year, it then evolved into being part of the IDC program that Dive Confident deliver, with Stuart being the CD and me being staff instructor.
Yeah. So this Dive Confident, it's open to anybody worldwide. You could literally do it as a one-to-one online.
Yeah. So coaching and counselling session, not a problem. Can do that online. I also do the classroom session out of the Self-Confident Diver course, but obviously that isn't certificated or accredited. But basically, I look at what's going on for that person. We walk through the tools and techniques to be able to overcome that. I then have a follow-up session. Hopefully that person, wherever they are in the world, has gone off and dived, come back, talk me through it. How did it go? And then we sort of dissect that dive and then sort of just guide them, obviously all remotely. Obviously, I'm always happy to jump on a plane and go anywhere, but in the event that I can't. So yeah, worldwide, any diver. It's not, the Self-Confident Diver course is a PADI distinctive, but I literally dissect that up and will just create bespoke programs, really, depending on what that diver presents. So I tend to have an initial conversation where I just want them to tell me what's going on for them, tell me what their dive experiences have been, what's worked, what's not worked, what's going on for them that's causing them anxiety. Was there an incident that they witnessed, or was there a gap in terms of them not diving for a while? But sometimes people don't always know what that trigger is either. So we use what I work with them. I use the therapeutic interventions. So I said, I'm a therapeutic counsellor. The dark?
The dark, yeah.
It can be, I guess. It's the most frequent reason that people are presenting anxiety to me is mask skills and going deep.
But mask skills you only really have to take off unless something goes wrong, or somebody, whacks it off your face by someone's fin or something. But generally, mask skills, you only take them off in open water, then that's it.
Yeah, well, that's an interesting one, because one of the students that I had a few years ago just couldn't figure out. So it was absolutely fine getting in the water, but any leaky mask, any water in there would bolt to the surface. I'm like, really? This is incredibly unsafe. Let's work through this. It's what I go. So through some counselling sessions, through really talking through about, talk to me about what's kind of going on, what's going on in your mind, why is this triggering, etc. And we just had this moment where it was in Stony. It was only about 2 meters. We'd only just gone into where the key is. We sat there for quite a while. I was holding the student's hand and just encouraging them to just take just a little partial fill first, partial flood. Then over the time, I say I'm not going to necessarily go through each little bit of item, but basically over time it then come out that she had suppressed some a near drowning experience as a child.
Oh, really?
And it had literally just been parked at the back of her mind. She'd pushed it away, and the water coming by her eyes, that was the trigger, but she didn't connect the two.
Pretty brave getting in the water after an incident like that.
Yeah, she's absolutely incredible. She's smashing it now, honestly. I'm very proud of her. But she does it very, very well. And once we figured it out, then we knew I could then offer some interventions and some techniques about how to overcome that just for that moment, but knowing that ultimately it's about her ensuring that she can convince herself that she is safe and not necessarily bolting to the surface.
Guess it's feeling safe and then feeling happy in the water as well.
Yeah. Being very proud of yourself that you can overcome these things. Again, it's lovely to hear back from my students that, you know, where they are after we've had some sessions, some coaching and counselling sessions.
Yeah. So for UK people, well, for worldwide people, do you deliver this service for any level of diver? So, you know, obviously open water. What about the people that are like on side mount, or they've gone down the tech route, or they're rebreathers? Do you have a whole range of divers that approach you?
Yeah, we do. It literally is anyone that gets in the water. It could be anyone that wants to get in the water. You know, another student that I've had basically was only convinced that they could snorkel. And I'm like, no, let's see, you know, take you a little bit deeper. Let's, you know, sort of duck dive a little bit. Now let's put you on a regulator. And so, yeah, it's any level. It could be people that aspire to want to dive and just feel like they can't. It can be people that have, you know, started up here and really excited about things, like I was when I did my open water, but then crashed a little bit during their AOW. It can be people that have, or I've had people that have sadly witnessed instances, so therefore it hasn't been directly to them, but they've had buddies, they've had other people on boats that they've witnessed, you know, instances and illness. So yeah, there's any breadth of it's anything diving related. But equally, as a therapeutic counsellor, I have lots of experience working with people who live with everyday life. So easily transferable to talk about diving, and I love to talk about diving. So it suits me lovely. It suits me well.
And I suppose any agency?
Yeah, any agency. Yeah, absolutely, any agency.
And do they contact you, or do you go to dive centres?
So if they contact me is probably the best way. So obviously take a look at the website.
Raise the hand to say, you know, they need some help.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook, so to look for Dive Confident. So the website is Self Confident Diver, but as things have evolved, let's say, I just felt like we're doing a bit more services now rather than the one program. So that's why I've sort of changed to Dive Confident, but Self Confident Diver was a program within that. If that makes sense. So yeah, Facebook, Instagram, website. Just reach out, have a chat. And I can arrange a session, not a problem. I'm happy to have to offer maybe your viewers maybe a sort of a 15-minute session free of charge. Let's just talk through what's going on.
Well, that'd be good. That'd be
see,
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we can just see if there's any purpose for that person to feel like we need further sessions, and then work from there.
Yeah. So with I'm just thinking, because like you've done this with PADI, and is anyone else doing anything similar to this with PADI? Because
with PADI,
this sort of thing should be rolled out to the other agencies as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to do this. I would literally, this is my future. This is what I want to continue to be doing. I want people to feel empowered and be able to know where the place to go to get tools and techniques so that they can get in the water and enjoy that moment of mindfulness that we all love. But we do have to overcome those anxieties and accept that they're there sometimes and work through that. So yeah, literally any agency. But for me, I'm not the self-confident diver. Like as I already said, you know, the bespoke distinctive that I wrote to be, you know, that was my initial aspirations were to do that. And then I then saw actually it doesn't need to be, it's not just a PADI endorsed product to say, you know, it's mine as the author, but it's for any diver. You know, I don't mind who I'm talking to, but if they're having challenges in the water, it doesn't matter what agency. It doesn't matter where they are in the world.
No.
I love to hear about the diving in Singapore from this student. I love to hear about the diving in, you know, in Scotland or Wales or, you know, anywhere. But it doesn't matter where we get in the water; those challenges still exist.
Yeah. And I guess for dive centres, you know, a lot of it is getting people in the water, get them qualified, and that's it. That's kind of the end of the journey. But do you ever get referrals from dive centres about students that they can kind of sense they could go further, but their confidence isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do take referrals.
Mm.
And I'm always really I always reassure the dive centre to say they are your student. Yes, I can teach them their open water or their AOW, but that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to act as a bit of an intervention. So you refer them to me. I will talk to them. I will work with them. I will do some coaching and counselling and some sessions with them. Then, even if they're doing the full course with me, the self-confident diver, and I take them in the water, like into open water, they then go back to that dive centre. So it's a referral service.
Yeah, that's really good. And good for dive centres because then that keeps them with some core people, doesn't it? That keep going back and diving more and go on more holidays.
Yeah, and it gives the dive centres somewhere to refer to.
Mm.
See,
Yeah.
I don't mind a little bit of nervousness, and I
Mhm.
don't mind when we've got students. I don't mind them being a little bit nervous about it because I think that's kind of good because of they're taking it more serious. What I find probably more worrying or dangerous is ego when there's ego involved, and I think that's when there's a chance of things going wrong because of ego takes over with some people. Whether it's going deep or doing loads of skills or something like that, or just being a really busy diver, because they want to have the big camera and stuff like that. But is a nervousness is I feel is okay to a point if it's mentored and controlled and it's part of you can still rely on your training to get in the water and do a dive.
And other people appreciate it around you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're right. I think I feeling a little bit nervous when you're on a boat, feeling a little bit nervous before
It's
going on
natural.
a dive. Yeah, and I think that's a good. Personally, I think that's a good thing to have because it keeps it real. It makes sure that we've done our
Yeah.
checks, that we make sure that we have everything we need. We make sure that we're prepared. Do we feel well enough to dive? We've got all our equipment. I think that's a good thing. We wouldn't necessarily get in our car and drive up one end of the country to the other without making sure that we've got everything that we need. Both the car is, fuel, oil, water. We've got
Exactly.
snacks.
Snacks is important, definitely.
It's really important. Diving is no different. We need to make sure we're prepared for that. And actually, I think that little bit of anxiety, let's say, just keeps it real for us that
Yeah.
we're diving in, and we need to have all our safety equipment ready.
And using driving as an example, you wouldn't get in a car with a driver or a passenger that you weren't happy with either, because that's a huge part of diving as well with, who you're buddying with.
Yeah, that is a really good point. You wouldn't, like I say, reflect on that dive already said to you about the one that just tagged along when I was doing my night adventure. He was not interested in me whatsoever. It was like he was told I was his buddy. Yeah, it meant nothing. And my anxiety levels went through the roof on that because actually I felt like as a buddy, we should be looking out for each other. That's what I've been taught. That's what I'd expected. I expect that now. When everyone, whoever I'm buddying with, a lot of the time recreationally, I dive with my husband. But we know each other's kit really well. We do our checks. We know each other's behaviours in the water. So if something's not quite right, we're watching each other to make sure everything is fine. That's what you'd expect from a good buddy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Ian, you said about ego. Yeah, we do see it. We see it in any sport. We see it in any
I
walks.
see it at the gym loads of times, and people getting hurt and injured because of ego takes over, and it's like, yeah, you probably didn't need to have done that, really, but there we go.
Yeah. But sometimes that doesn't, but that can also be a bit of a cover up in terms of their own anxieties.
Yeah.
They might not be aware of it. I've had students before that actually feel like they can achieve anything, but actually we try and talk to them in terms of breaking it down in terms of their development. need to go through a progressive way rather than jumping and bunny hopping and skipping bits, making sure that you've got confidence in your own ability. But not everybody sees it. But like I said, that's sadly in any walk of life. It can be a driver.
Yeah.
I was buddied up with somebody who I had not dived with before a few years ago. They were instructor and they knew my level, and we got halfway through, half out to Stony, started going down, and he cleared off, left me to it.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I was like, he just went off so fast and it's ridiculously fast, and left me to it. And I was gone. He was gone. And I was like, right, okay, I'm now in the middle of the lake, and my buddy's gone, cleared off. So I surfaced, and I came up, and I was like looking around, and by this stage, people had clocked that I was now on my own, and I thought, what the hell do I do? So I started like sort of looking around, couldn't see anyone, started making my way back to the shore, to the quay, and he popped up the other side of the lake. And when he eventually came back, he said, well, I thought you was with me. I went, what? How do you think you was with me when you're the other side of the lake? So yeah, anyway, I ended up reporting him. Not good, because at the end of the day, I took it okay, but he could have been and done that to somebody who wouldn't have been okay.
Yeah. No, you did exactly the right thing, and definitely voicing it to him as well. Hopefully you won't do that again. And reporting it, we've got to stop some of these behaviours that happen in the water where people just think
from instructors should well known better.
Yeah, no, exactly. And they're taking this buddy responsibility seriously.
Yeah.
They're not leaving you isolated and just assuming that everything is okay. You would have known that you weren't behind him at some point or next to him.
I would have thought so. Yeah, I would have thought so. You would have known, but just decided to carry on.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good. Unfortunately, there are poor practices, again, not just in diving, but in lots of walks of life and things. But what we can do is make sure that we're doing the right thing, and we're teaching our students the right thing, and we're behaving the right way, so that when, even if I'm out recreationally, people are still watching what you're doing. Doing the right thing is always what is paramount, because of the safety, the health and safety of diving.
Well, it's setting an example as well, isn't it, to everybody around you, and not acting like an idiot on the quay or.
Yeah, and sadly so. We've all seen them.
Absolutely.
You also support PADI Aware as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so I've got planned this year. We're going to do a bit of a beach cleanup.
Nice.
So I'll do that. Yeah, I've yet to early stages. I haven't put in some pen to paper or anything on that, but we'll definitely do a little bit more of that.
Yeah. So what other plans have you got for the future, sort of near and a bit further along? Is there anything in the pipeline?
Okay. Let's think. In terms of my own diving, I've got a few bits and pieces coming up. In terms of Dive Confident, continue to promote what I do, continue to promote that the service is available for people. I say the coaching, the counselling, the full program, because I get a lot of content in terms of just seeing someone grow and seeing someone thrive. So I want to be doing much more of that. I don't see that going anywhere anytime soon in terms of, like doing anything else but growing. So that's, you can see, I get very excited about that. Part of my own diving, so recreationally, we try and get out as much as we can. So we're going to, next month, we're going to Scapa Flow. Love Scapa. Yeah, so it'll be another trip there as a return trip. So that's good. And as I mentioned too, when we were just chatting earlier, so we've got Chuck Lagoon next year. So that'll be an awesome trip. Yeah.
Who are you diving with up at Scapa?
We're going with Huskian.
Oh, excellent. Good.
Yeah, Emily.
So she's been on. She's a previous guest.
Oh, okay, brilliant. I hadn't spotted that one. I'll have to go back and have a little look. Maybe
about 2-3 years ago, actually. I was just after COVID.
I'll drop a little message.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can.
But yeah.
So what sort of dive setup are you on, side mount or just single tank?
I dive any of them basically. So when I'm teaching, I tend to go on single tank. If I'm doing sort of open water, maybe even AOW, I might stay on a single tank. But generally, I'm twin tens or side mount.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's
So
good.
I do love my twin tens.
That's
Twin
what I would do,
tens.
side mount.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's so nice in the water. So nice. It's just so nice and slick.
I was watching a friend of ours, Greg. I'm sure you won't mind me mentioning his name. He was at Stony the weekend, and he was on side mount, and it just looks so much easier, doesn't it? You just plop, tanks in the water ready, and he's walking around. He's got all this weight. He's got his harness on. He's ready to go.
It's
And
lovely.
hops in.
Yeah, it's really lovely. When you're in the water, you literally do not feel like you've got anything. They're weightless. It's lovely. Sort of wiggling your way through the stained garth can be a bit tricky. You might have to go a little bit sideways. But yeah, so tend to be my go-to is my twin tens. And then I will take, if I'm anything below probably about 20 meters, or if I'm with students, probably about 18 meters. I've also got a stage that I take.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I always take a redundant source. Again, that sort of comes back to the times when I was learning that felt like I was going to run out of air. So if I show students that I've got a whole bundle of extra air, it's fine. We've got loads of everybody. So that's why that's
never have too much air.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
no, we need it.
What about rebreather diving? Have you done a try dive, or have you got any aspirations to give it a go?
I haven't. I don't have any aspirations, I must admit. I feel like I'm changing kit all the time because of being with students. And I know that being a rebreather, you need to dive very regularly with that rebreather kit configuration. And I feel like because I'm chopping and changing all the time, I won't have that frequency of keep doing it. So for me at the moment, probably not. I'm not saying a no for never, no forever, but at the moment I haven't tried it. What about you guys? Have you tried?
Done a try dive?
Yeah, with the cruise and up at the Go Dive show. Loved it. Brilliant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, you might tempt me now. I've already got a lot of kit in the house.
I can do twin set. Did that with Crystal Seas a while back. And dive twin sets, twin 12s. That's so much weight on your back, and And I was talking about this at the weekend, funny enough, and it just, you got all that weight on your back, haven't you? I mean, I kind of think the whole twin set thing, the side mount thing, just looks so much easier.
It is nice. It is nice. You should give it a go. So I love it. I tend not to dive side mount if I've got students.
No.
But when we're doing our own dives recreationally, then yeah, I'd probably dive side mount.
Yeah. Look, at the weekend, I did notice quite a few people adaptive diving. So do you cover that side of life as well?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, absolutely.
They probably need a bit more TLC getting into the water as well.
Yeah, it is about enabling diving to be accessible to everybody. So yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it's literally anybody that wants to dive, or has dived or is struggling with being able to dive, then very open and available to have conversations and have some sessions with those people. But yeah, no, it's like I say, it is about enabling access for everybody.
Yeah. And sometimes you think, like looking at school children, primary, high school, they don't have any access to know what diving is really about, do they? And that could start things so much earlier to get people inspired and think, yeah, I want to give that a go. And your enthusiasm would be great for, people in, those education sites to, get us more divers, young divers in the water.
Yeah, I spent a couple of years basically doing SEAL team. So it's 8 years and above. Lots of fun. Lots of hard work, but lots of fun as well. And it's been really lovely to have a number of those SEAL teams that have gone on to do their junior open water, junior AOW, and their dry suit, etc. And so that's been lovely to see their growth. So doing the SEAL team and then Master SEAL team. So it's sort of a 15-week program as such that we end up doing like a night, one session a night for the youngsters. But that's been, and I love being a bit silly with that. And, you know, there's things like simulating a bit of a night dive. So I let them have a bit of play around with some torches. Doing a bit of a treasure hunt, so I'll put some coins and that in the water, but in bottles, or we'll go doing a sort of a environmental, so get them to find some rubbish that's in the pool. So lots of fun. It's a great opportunity to be really silly.
That's good.
Right, let's do these questions.
We had, so we ask all our guests 3 set questions. The first one being, if you could take 3 people into the water and let them experience the underwater world, either past, present, they don't need to be divers, it's just the principle of showing them what is there, who would you take and why?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So my first thoughts, my number one, my first one was going to be my younger self. Because I remember as a child being absolutely fascinated with the encyclopedia and loving marine life. So I felt like if I would have got into diving earlier, I'd have had more years diving and I'd have more experiences and more travel. So that was my first. Because you said I could basically choose anybody.
Yeah, that's a good answer. We've not had that
before. We've had that before.
And the next one would be Jacques Cousteau. So obviously the influential figure in marine exploration. He did describe the underwater world as complete silence and total serenity, which I think sums it up for me as well. So, and then my third would be the early career of David Attenborough. So as he celebrates his 99th birthday quite recently, I think it's this week or last week, I would have loved to have done some of the early stuff with him. Equally, with my younger self as well. We feel like, you know, he's had such a life experience. I think he does incredibly well at really championing why the oceans are so important to us. And by that knowledge and that enthusiasm and the drive to share those experiences with others. So they're my 3 people.
We need him to live forever, don't we?
Yeah, and he will. He's a national treasure. He will be around for a very long time.
No, they're really great answers.
Thank you.
This is quite an interesting one for you, really, with what you do. So we ask all our guests what gets them out of their comfort zone. Now that can be diving, or it can be anything else.
Okay. So I feel like I just need to reflect on what has taken me out of my comfort zone. And diving has taken me out of my comfort zone. So I didn't know it initially, but going from the AOW experience, that is absolutely my comfort zone. Then it was my deep course. Then it was my Tech 40. Then it was my Tech 50. And then obviously incorporated with that is my the IDC and IE. So I feel like I'm forever just putting a foot outside of what my comfort zone is.
Yeah.
Quite honestly, I don't know what's next. But I know that when it makes me feel that trepidation, that, can I do this or not, then that's also, of course I'm going to do this.
Where's your ceiling?
My ceiling, for diving wise, I feel like I've done that now with getting my Tech 50.
Yeah.
I think...
Would you push it further to go see a wreck?
Maybe, but it'd have to be awesome. It'd have to be worth it.
Chuck Lagoon?
Chuck Lagoon, possibly, but I haven't. But I did my 45. Sorry, I did my 45 because we went to Narvik last year, and one of the wrecks was 50, and I had terrible fear of missing out. I had terrible FOMO. And I'm like, no, do I feel ready to push it a little bit more, that 5 meters? Of course I do. And that's fine. But I couldn't have gone from my AOW to my Tech 50. That was a massive step.
Yeah.
So answering your question, I know, sorry, it's gone a long answer, is right now I don't know. But whatever it is I do, if it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, then I'm going to mildly swear, sorry, I'm going to frigging do it, because I know that I can do it. And if I need to prepare for it, if I need to read for it, if I need to do my own breathing techniques, if I need to do give myself some of my own tools for my toolkit, then so be it. But you know, one of my little things is like, nothing is impossible, so let's give it a go.
I think it's a fair point. You don't normally go, like with weightlifting, you wouldn't start deadlifting at 20 kilo and then jump up to 100. You know, and you don't, same with depth, you don't go from 30 meters to 40. You know, you take that time to build up, don't you? You know, so I think it's what you're saying is absolutely spot on.
Yeah, and you've also got to have your why. Why are you doing it? You've got to have a reason. You know, you've got to do it because you want to make yourself achieve something, or you know, it's coming out of the water happy, isn't it?
Shiny wreck.
Yeah, shiny wreck. Yeah, I would go for a shiny wreck. I wouldn't go just because I need to have that deeper dive on my dive computer and see nothing.
Exactly. That's where the ego goes in, isn't it?
Yeah, that's not for me. If it's a wreck and everyone else is going to see it and I am not, then no, I will be joining them.
Well, we've said this a few times on the podcast, but somebody did come up to us once and say, "You're not diving unless you're 25 meters down." Great. Well,
I think you're diving the minute you've got your face in the water, to be honest, once you're seeing things that not everybody else can see.
No, that's right. Even if it's just snorkeling, you see people getting so much joy out of snorkeling, and they're still seeing the underwater world, aren't they? And you never know where that's going to then lead. So
yeah, exactly. You're seeing things that not everybody else sees is really quite a wonder.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, how would you define a dive? Is it half a meter? Is it 50 meters?
Not about depth, is it?
coming out with a smile on your face.
Exactly, and coming up and saying that was a good dive.
Exactly. Yeah. So our third and final question is, if you had a billboard that you could put out there to the whole world, and you could put an image, a phrase, anything on it to get a message out to the world, what would you put on it?
Okay, I think I've just actually already said that as well. So it's nothing is impossible, because the word itself says I'm possible.
Very good.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, excellent answers, and some new ones as well. So that's really good. Yeah. So just to remind our listeners, where's the best place they can go and find more about you, on social media, website?
Yeah, so check out the website, which is self-confident-diver.com, or Instagram and Facebook, which is Dive Confident. And drop me a message. I'd love to hear from you. Love to hear from anybody, any divers.
That's really good. And we'll put the links in the show notes so people can just click on it and then follow you from there.
So are you saying that our listeners can have a free 15 minutes, do you say?
Yeah. I think we'll say that. I think a little bit of a treat for Mental Health Awareness Month, which is in May, which right now is what we're in. So yeah, go for it. Yeah, contact me, and then can have a 15-minute call with any of your listeners.
Yeah. Well, keep in touch and let us know. How many people make contact?
It's all confidential, so I might
absolutely
on your numbers, but absolutely, and that's just to reassure everybody as well. Everything that anybody talks to me about literally remains with me. I want people to feel that they've got the trust and confidence and feel like they can really share what's going on for them, because only then, if they are true and honest with themselves, can we then move on and come over some of the kind of encounter some of these barriers.
Yeah.
We do have one more question, I do believe. Gemma?
Yes, so we obviously speak to people and interview them, and we always ask our last guest we spoke to give us a question to ask our next guest. So, and it's all anonymous, so we're not going to tell, which guest gave the question. But their question to you was, what is the next big thing in diving? You can interpret it however you like.
What, my diving or diving in general?
Or just general. Yeah. However you want to. Yeah.
What do you think the next best big thing?
Oh, I think it is probably coming from the stance that I believe is about mindfulness and mental health, the benefits of that. So one of the things that actually I haven't sort of gone on to say is we automatically assume that being in the water is great, it's lovely, it brings us mindfulness, but it's also the triggering of it. We might want to do it. So actually enabling people to have access to diving so they can see the mental health benefits for it. I would love to see that. I'd love to see that as part of that therapy piece for people. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. Really, really good. Yeah. So it's been really, really good talking to you, and seeing another side of diving that maybe, some people, they're very blinkered and think this is diving, but there is so much more to diving, and about how you perceive diving, and what help is out there as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. It is. I'm very aware it is a different stance to it, but it's a very important one, and I feel like there's such a gap there, and I feel like it's just we're losing people getting in the water, we're losing divers because of what's going on in the intrusive voices, the anxiety, and actually we can overcome that, and you can enjoy diving.
So look up Dive Confident.
Absolutely, would love to hear from anybody and everybody.
Well, thank you very much for coming on. That's been brilliant. Thank you.
Thanks for being on the BiG Scuba podcast. It's been great.
Oh, you're welcome, and thank you very much for having me.
Well, we want to say thanks to Emma for coming on, and that was a really nice podcast and conversation.
Yes, and good to have a different aspect of diving as well, isn't it? On the mental health side, doesn't happen that often that we've.
Well, we've had all sorts come on the podcast, and quite a few of them can do some serious deep diving, and quite a few of them have said they've had the odd wobble here and there, and I think it's only human and natural to have the odd occurrence, I guess, and
it is. It is, and it's good that it's, the knowledge is out there, and people should appreciate, it does happen, and we know there's lots of big egos out there that.
But now there's people like Emma Stewart,
there is
self-confident, who's out there, who have a service where somebody you can go speak to and talk about what triggered something and what have you.
And it's good for dive centres to have that facility as well, if they've got people that they can then refer, because having a referral service is, that's kind of a little bit of a bridge between getting that one person, and offering them access to help.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's some good stuff come out of that, actually. So that's good. And nice offering our listener a bit of discount as well on a free 15 minutes for start a ball rolling.
Yes, so don't forget to look at the show notes. The links will be there. Make contact with Emma, and if you do want to let us know if it's made a difference or how you've got on, then do make contact. But obviously, we realise all these things are confidential. So
they are.
But if you do want to let us know, we're here.
Brilliant. We should also say thank you and give praise to our lovely friends at NARC 90 who sponsor these episodes, and they are Beyond Technical.
They are. So look them up at their website, which is www.narc90.com, and they are there for all your diving needs, equipment needs, servicing needs, dive computers, and they are experts in their field.
They are. So make sure you've got them on your contact list.
Absolutely.
Well, so that's kind of covered everything, isn't it?
It has, don't forget to give us a review on wherever you listen to the podcast, or if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, give us a comment, give us a like.
Subscribe.
Definitely. And, if you've got any friends who you dive with that haven't listened to this podcast, then maybe
why not
recommend that they do. There are over 200 episodes to listen to, and we talk to all types of people connected to the watery world, on it, above it, under it. So we've spoken to extremes of people that make sculptures for underwater. We've spoken to astronauts, we've spoken to tech divers, wreck divers, cave divers, free divers. It's
cave divers who like looking at wet rocks.
Exactly.
Divers who like looking at wet wrecks. Does that work? Wet wrecks?
Wet
Yeah.
wrecks, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a whole load of variety there to do with the watery world.
Plethora. Come on, let's get that word in there.
Yeah.
A plethora.
Variety.
I
Yes,
like that
definitely
word.
variety.
My
So,
new favourite word.
yeah, and if you've got any recommendations for guests that you'd like to hear us chat to on the podcast, then drop us an email or contact us via our social media channels.
Or maybe you've got a story. Let us know. Contact us, send us a DM, send us a little message, send us a letter to us at Bungie and say, hey, I've got a message. I've got a story. We'll let you know.
Yeah, or if you want us to give you a shout out on the podcast, yeah, drop us a message and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. Might be a free gift in there for you. Who knows?
Who knows? So what we will say is thank you for downloading and listening to this podcast. We hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget the rest of the episodes, and just thank you for downloading the BiG Scuba podcast.
This was
the BiG Scuba podcast.
Now that does wrap up today's episode of the BiG Scuba podcast. But if you want to hear more from the podcast, make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button depending on what platform you are listening on. That way you will never miss an episode from us. But if you are listening on Apple Podcasts and did enjoy what you heard today, we would really appreciate it if you head to the show page to leave a 5-star rating and review. It really does help us. If you do, please take a screenshot of that review and send it to us on Instagram, and we'll give you a shout out to say a big thank you. If you have any questions for us or anything that has been mentioned in today's episode, be sure to reach out to us on any of our social media platforms or send us an email. The links are in the show notes. We will get back to you no matter what. If you have made it to this point in the episode, we both want to say a big thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode.